cold night, science and evil collide. Oh yeah.
So Jack Frost is a fun exercise because it's a Christmas horror movie. Mm-hmm. It takes an otherwise fun symbol and turns it into one of fear and dread. But the movie's definitely got a sense of humor.
Yeah. Oh, and it wears it. It wears it surprisingly well.
Yeah.
It's almost hard to imagine how a movie about a killer Frosty the Snowman can play out.
Previously on Riders of the Apocalypse.
What's Cujo really about? Like, ultimately, what's the big picture?
What does the dog represent? Does the dog represent a fading economy? Brian, Merry Christmas.
How's it going?
It's going
Happy
great.
holidays to you.
Thanks, dude. Oh,
to you and your friends.
Okay.
We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Yeah.
And whatever else is going on in your life.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, happy holidays.
Thanks, man.
It's a time for good cheer and,
Yeah. We were trying to get in the holiday spirit, right? And we wanted to do it we wanted to be goofy. And some of these movies are a little more like straightforward slashers. We could have gone with the Silent Night, Deadly Night, of course, is the classic. That's in my opinion, the pinnacle Santa slasher. But everyone's done that, and we didn't want to add to that oversaturation. But if you have not watched Silent Night, Deadly Night, I highly recommend go ahead and watch that. It's a little rough. I mean, there's some rough scenes. It's pretty violent, but it is a slasher, and it's if it's all just a movie, then it's fine.
Okay.
There's some.
So that movie, when it came out, I imagine that you were telling me it caused a lot of controversy.
Yeah, apparently
a lot of moms weren't down with that.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of protesting and stuff when the movie. A lot of the protesting about the movie started just from the trailer alone.
Okay.
The trailer would come on, normal times, like 5 o'clock in the evening when people are eating dinner, maybe watching television, and their kids are seeing this trailer. And, that made them mad, just the trailer.
Yeah.
Just seeing a Santa with a potentially killer Santa.
Uh-huh.
It was just something that, I think it was 1984, maybe 85, but just right in the middle of that, moment where there was a lot of people coming out against violence in movies and stuff.
Yeah. There was a lot of satanic panic, I think, going on. There were movements to try to, in some cases, outright censor music.
Right.
And so all of those hearings that the PMRC, headed up by Tipper Gore, the People's Music Resource something.
Yeah.
They, got to the point where they actually had a congressional hearing of like, well, what does the American government need to do anything about the content of stuff that's being put out by entertainers? And so primarily they were focusing on albums, music that was being put out by people, that there was this new level of graphic, I guess, content that was coming out in both heavy metal and like the burgeoning rap genre that a lot of concerned parents were becoming upset about. And so it basically led to saying, okay, we need to have a regulation for the music industry to at least put a rating on their music. So just say parental advisory sticker if it's talking about yay or nay. And then after that, it's up to the parent to decide.
Yeah.
Okay, so great.
And I totally remember those when all the stickers started showing up on albums. And we talked about in an earlier episode the sticker that Blockbuster would put on their videos that were sometimes unrated or a little bit more graphic.
Yeah.
And like we kind of both talked about too, the sticker just makes you want to buy it more.
Right.
I mean,
Especially
somebody like me,
when you're a young kid in that, but sort of the loose connection there is that there was a lot of, like I said, the satanic panic. There was a big worry about, Satan worshiping in music. And, several people had gotten a lot of trouble legally for, false accusations for the most part of, there was a lot of daycare centers that were getting investigated and in trouble because people were saying that there was, inappropriate happenings because the people must be into Satan. Several people got rung through the legal system, especially in California. There were several cases of just like otherwise seemingly innocent people that were, but so several things like that happened during this time. It was the early 80s. Yeah. And now a movie like that comes out, Silent Night, Deadly Night, that's got a trailer that shows Santa Claus killing everybody. Mm-hmm. And I guess same kind of thing. A lot of parents were like, nope. Yeah.
And they were picketing outside of, kind of opening night or opening weekend for the film and all that stuff. But, and I think it did. No, I think what I read was that the opening weekend of this film did even better than the directors and producers thought it would. So it made some money.
So there's kind of a Streisand effect going on there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like, be careful what you push up against because the back push on it could knock you over.
Right.
I mean, but we Silent Night, Deadly Night is a classic, and there's a few sequels that are just absolutely ridiculous. But, we dug deeper, and
we sure did.
I have seen the film that we're going to talk about before. One time before, my wife and I watched it a few years ago. Just so we're like, okay, we'll give this looks ridiculous.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about Jack Frost.
Dun, dun, dun.
And we're not talking about the sweet little Michael Keaton kind of weird drama that came out around the same time.
Yeah, the comedy drama.
Yeah, the comedy drama where he's also a snowman.
Yeah.
He reincarnated into a snowman or something.
Right.
I don't know if I've even seen that all the way through, but no, we're talking Jack Frost, the batshit crazy, wild ride. Honestly, if you're not too picky, just grab a couple of beverages and a few friends and have fun.
That's right.
This one's great.
Hit play and go for it. And when we come back from the break, we're going to get into that and just the fun that you can have in the holiday season, watching a movie like Jack Frost, and a companion to a film that we were just talking about a few minutes ago that caused a lot of controversy around this time, a certain sequel called Silent Night, Deadly Night. Not 2.
Not, what, 3?
Not 3, no.
Okay, then it had to be 4. They didn't do, Jason, do more than 4 of those, did they?
Jason, what? They did 5.
5.
And we watched number 5 for some reason.
We sure did.
How does this ball of snow have magical powers, though? I think we need to get into, like, where does this evil presence come from?
Well, that's that serial killer mojo that just can't die.
I guess so.
It just changes forms.
Our film begins with one of the worst blizzard nights of the year next to Snowtown, USA.
Yeah, bone-chilling cold.
There's a truck that's trying to make it through the night in the middle of a snowstorm, and they're carrying a prisoner. It's a Department of Corrections. They're carrying a prisoner that is to be executed that night. And that prisoner is a mean, vicious serial killer guy known as Jack Frost. Yeah. Because he's cold, baby.
He's cold as ice.
And, he's willing to sacrifice.
his love. Absolutely. Well, and so they shouldn't have been driving as erratically as they were in that snowstorm.
No.
But it came up and bit them, and, they wreck.
That's what you get, guys.
Wreck. And that Jack Frost, man, to not be strapped in back in the back of that truck.
Yeah.
And he rolls around in there. You see him kind of
good to go.
And he just, hops out. He's all good.
He makes it. The truck wrecks, and the truck wrecks into a chemical truck. It's carrying some kind of top secret,
Yeah, it's biological fluid, or it's, some kind of, it's something, okay? It's science.
Look,
don't ask questions. It's just science, and it happens.
So they mix together, and Jack Frost initially looks like he dies a horrifying death. He's getting melted
Oh
on
yeah,
top
the
of he's
door
out in the
breaks
snow.
open because there was a crack in the glass, and so the tank busts open and sprays him.
Yeah.
And that was a pretty good. I liked that. He kind of melts.
Yes,
and it's pretty gory.
Yeah, he melts into the snow, and and we are treated to an animation that shows us how, on a molecular level, this special fluid is now bonding with the serial killer's DNA and the snow.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
And they become one into the worst serial killer that you've ever seen.
Man.
Jack Frost, a killer snowman that is now terrorizing a small town that is populated by, amongst other wonderful characters, our main character, who is the sheriff.
Yes, Sam. Sam is our kind of our everyman kind of.
Yeah.
He's the good guy. I mean, it was almost funny because. And I did like him. That that actor, I feel like, carried that movie pretty well through the whole thing.
Yeah, he had very. I will say though that he had reaction shots to other people getting killed that I would describe as gentle.
Okay.
He was very much not like. Whenever it showed somebody getting killed and he was there to see it, whenever they would cut back to him, his expression was, I don't know, I couldn't describe it as. He was interested, you know,
just kind of trying to figure it out.
Kind of mildly interested, really, not too horrified.
No.
So
Nothing
those are
new
the
here
choices
for him, I guess.
Those are the choices that they made. So
And that was Christopher Allport.
Was the name of the actor?
Yes, he played Sam. Apparently, he was really into this movie, and I think he probably thought the potential of a franchise here. He did part 2. There's a sequel to this, folks.
Looking at big bucks here.
There is a sequel. Okay,
Yes.
and that's all I'm going to say.
And so he came back because not just for money, but he believed that the second movie answered most of the philosophical questions posed by the first.
Oh, good call. Oh, Brian, where do you get... Man, sometimes it's just like the stuff you're keeping up in there in that noggin. You're absolutely right. You hit the nail on the head. I mean, you know, what is a Frost?
You know, really, at the end of the day, what are we doing here, man?
Jack Frost, really? Is it our internal fears of maybe what would happen if we didn't have heat?
Yeah.
You know, and we froze? Is it a...
I guess it says something about American society. That we would need a movie about,
sure,
you know, the cold creeping in on our nice, warm, capitalist lives, man.
Oh, yeah. My mind just blew.
Can we talk about the whole Kris Kringle as... Okay, so we touched upon this briefly at some point yesterday when we were just talking about movies like this and getting into Santa Claus as an analog for... Okay, Santa Claus, the modern American version of Santa Claus, when we say that, we know that we're talking about a archetypal kind of figure that has, you know, changed a little bit over the years, but the version that we have in America was largely created by marketing companies in the 20s, 30s, right around there.
Awesome.
So it takes the idea of the Kris Kringle, and, you know, his red and white suit is really very much because of Coca-Cola.
Oh my God, dude. Are you serious?
Yes. You can look all this up. There's no hard and fast, like, this is the artist. There was one artist, I'm sure, that, you know, kind of first encapsulated that idea, but most of what America kind of got about Santa Claus, like next to a plate of cookies and having a nice cold Coca-Cola in his hand.
Oh, man.
That comes from like old Coca-Cola advertisements.
That's amazing. This was back when Coca-Cola had cocaine in it.
That was cocaña, mi amigo.
No wonder it took off.
Who did it ever?
It
Housewives
really
loved it.
Took off, and people's houses were spotless. Marriages stayed together longer, and everyone was happy.
Mom and dad.
Everyone
and
had a
apple
lot
pie.
of energy. And sometimes they spoke a little too much and too fast.
Yeah.
But everybody's having a good time.
You know, they would just kind of corny at a party and just talk about how, man, we could open a bar, man.
Yeah.
You know, you could cook.
I'm gonna buy a boat. You know, like... that's
Larry can do security.
I have to give that. That's Chris Kattan.
Yeah.
In Corky Romano.
Oh, okay. God.
He does a lot of cocaine, and he gets up there and does a speech that's unbelievable.
Dude, if you want to watch, if you want some good comedy stylings, that's great. Watch Chris Kattan and Corky Romano when he accidentally ingests a ridiculous amount of cocaine. He's in an environment where you cannot be doing that. And he's
talking to children.
Yes, and he's trying to maintain control desperately. And the physical humor is wonderful. But anyway, we were
back to Coca-Cola and Christmas and St. Nick.
St. Nicholas.
That's amazing, though. I didn't know the tie-in there. That's awesome, man.
Yeah. So this version of Santa Claus, this American version of Santa Claus, also opens itself up to other aspects of American culture, i.e., maybe the materialism, capitalism, man.
Right.
But also, I saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus.
Oh, yeah. There's
getting into that stuff. There's a lot of Playboy magazine always had, this time of year, it was, the big jolly Saint Nick with this knowing look in his eye with some in some cases, a naked woman sitting on his lap. Like, I know what I'm getting for Christmas.
Right.
So there was that too.
Yes.
So there was this whole thing as Saint Nick is like this guy that probably got laid more than you would think. Because he's famous.
Or he could have been a serial killer, clearly.
Yeah, so that's late 70s, early 80s, now he's turning on people. Now he's coming into your home and butchering everyone.
Maybe that's why it struck a chord in some people, that middle America, where it's like, okay, now you're taking our beloved Santa from us.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's what they were thinking. But, like you were saying, Brian, if you think about Santa Claus too, what do we do when we go up and sit on his lap? Other than go to the bathroom in our pants. And I'm talking about kids here. Okay. I don't go sit on Santa's lap. Well, okay. I did the other night, but that was just something else. Okay. Don't judge me. My wife was with me. We both sat on his lap.
Okay.
Anyways, but when we were kids and you sit on Santa's lap, what do? You tell him what you want, material things that you want. That again involves shopping, purchasing. It's making. We do this once a year where we kind of feed the economy through this weird. You try to blame it on religion, but it's really kind of this consumerism thing that really kind of just jumps up the economy one time a year.
Yep.
And I'm okay with it. You can say there's some iffy stuff there, but look, everybody just, we can just relax now. I've already gone through my age, 10, 20 years ago where I'm like, fighting the establishment and everything sucks and capitalism is terrible and money's evil. Yeah. And then finally you kind of get past that and you're like, okay, I still need a house and I still need food and all that stuff.
Sure. So you got away from like when someone says Merry Christmas and you're like, sure, man, enjoy your holiday capitalist rejuvenation time for the corporations.
Sure.
It's like, okay, man, see you later.
Merry Christmas. Do you want a special Christmas sprinkle latte that we've got here for only $20?
Right.
And you can really celebrate Christmas, and then you can get that high off that caffeine and go on a shopping spree is what you're going to need to do.
That's what you're going to do for us.
But that's what it's all about, man.
The 1950s Beatnik Coffee House, where the coffee flows like wine, and the privileged ramblings of some uptight white kids flow like water. So let's listen into these coffee-fueled poetic warriors of yesteryear as they rail against capitalism and guilt over their trust funds.
New York, Christmas. Stockings hung by the chimney with care. Who do you care about? Do I care about it? Do I care about your culture, man? Do I care about your Madison Avenue ravings, trying to get us to buy more Coca-Cola, to buy more marshmallows, to buy more cigarettes, to put in your back pocket? You create the lie. Sorry, Christmas, cold, snowmen out on the front lawn of your big, nice house out there in the suburbs where you're rotting. Snowman. Man of snow, cold, cold-hearted, heart of ice, Christmas. Not my Christmas, not my snowman, not mine, Jack. Thank you.
Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun? Question mark. Not so much in this city I'm in, this city of sin, this sin city. Where's our Saint Nick now? I needed the nick of time, and he not there. Red suit, white fur. Who gave you that fur, sir? That red suit, that Saint Nick, oh, he a dick. Not cool, not great, not fun. I can wait till next year and do it all over again. Thank you.
So the actor that played the sheriff in this film, what was his name again?
His character name was Sam, but his name is Christopher Allport.
Okay, so the character Christopher Allport, you had told me something very interesting. He had done 2 of these movies.
Yeah.
He was an avid skier. Now, what happened with this guy?
Well, he did a lot of TV work, and he acted for, a lot of his life. None of it was, he was kind of, I think he did like a season of Mad Men, and then so what happened was, and he was in an X-File or 2.
He's a character actor, did a lot of like TV work.
Right. So he was fairly successful. I mean, I don't know how much money you make doing that stuff, but he wrote an article for the LA Times, I think, that was on the joys of cross-country skiing.
Okay.
And also, on also the dangers too. So, this was a pastime of his that he was very passionate about. He was, I think, an avid skier.
Right.
And it's terrible because, and I'm not making a joke at this at all, but it's just such a weird thing. So he did Jack Frost 1, and then he did Jack Frost 2. And then just a few years later, he was killed in an avalanche at a ski resort in California. And it's just, when I read that, it was like, it is very tragic. It's very tragic, but it's just kind of like, gosh,
life is weird.
Life is weird. And
life is really weird. Like
I don't want to say what I'm feeling, it's like,
sure.
Did Jack Frost, finally get him in the end? Folks, please hold your judgments.
Please, ladies and gentlemen.
I want people to laugh when I go. If it's a, if I do a movie about, I don't know, the sun is burning people and, coming down as a character,
right?
And then I die in a bad sunbathing accident, then I want people to joke about that. That's all I want to say.
Okay.
I
so anyways, you're fine with it. And
I really liked this actor. He really did take me, I think, through the film. Now, he's almost too good, right? We were talking about all the people in his life. No one's mad at this guy ever. It was kind of like, normally you'd have someone in the town that's like, oh, the damn sheriff's at it again,
Right.
But no, everybody was like, Sheriff, thank you so much for getting my cat out of the tree the other day. I mean, you're a real good guy. Audience, do you know that he's a good guy?
Many times we're reminded that the town is A-okay with this feller.
They sure are.
He's just a good guy that only wants to help out. That's why when he died later in an avalanche, everyone, just like, what is life about, man? Yeah. Is everything just a cosmic joke?
And there's your philosophical or existential conundrum there. I mean, whoa, where are we? It's like the dirt's pulled out from under you all of a sudden, and you're floating around in this flotsam and jetsam of what it is to be a human.
Which is
We're going off the rails here.
That is an exact line from the film.
Oh,
No,
my favorite scene, even though it's not a kill scene, the rocking chair. I call it the rocking chair incident. The shot is they've found a dead body in a rocking chair, and it's frozen outside in a rocking chair, and the chair is rocking.
Yes.
And we're watching the sheriff and I guess a deputy or two.
Yes.
They are looking at this dead body in the rocking chair that is still rocking, and they're talking about it like, what could have caused this, and you know, what killed old man Weathersby, you know.
Right.
And then Sam, our hero, looks down at one of the guy's feet and says, I don't know the character's name, but take your foot off the chair. And he takes his foot off and the chair is no longer rocking.
Right.
I had to rewind that a couple of times because you're sitting there watching this chair rocking going, is somebody rocking that on purpose? And it was the guy. Anyways.
Yeah, basically. It's a nice
scene.
fun in-joke of like, will you knock that off?
Yeah.
And that's when he was the one that was rocking the chair. That's
when they're like, okay, we know we're making a ridiculous film.
Gotcha.
So just ride with us, you know, just
was
enjoy.
that the first example of like outright, I mean, outside of us being introduced to Jack Frost initially in the film, where he breaks the fourth wall, like right when the truck is going to crash. They go, oh no, oh no, oh no. And then they cut to him and he goes, oh yeah. And then havoc ensues.
Yeah.
So that was the first like kind of fourth wall break to the audience, and in a literal fashion because the actor actually looks at the camera. But at that point that you're right, there was a comedic precedent that was set of like, okay, well, this movie has this stuff in it.
Yeah, he almost looks at the camera and says, Frank, can you stop? Take your foot off the chair.
So before the next break, I think it's interesting, like what you're bringing up, and we touched on it before, and if you're not getting this from us yet, you need to know that Jack Frost has a sense of humor about it.
Yeah. Jack
Frost is an entertaining movie in that respect, because, in many respects, but this is not an outright slasher film, and they knew they knew better than to try to take themselves way too serious.
Yeah, I would hope so, and that's what they did. They knew, they wore the comedy proudly.
Hey guys, this is Brian.
And this is Jason.
From Writers of the Apocalypse, and we wanted to say thank you very much for listening to the show.
Seriously, thanks.
Thank you for telling your friends if you had not already.
We really appreciate it.
And thank you very much for doing one more thing for us.
What's that?
That's going to writersoftheapocalypse.com and checking out our social media links, checking out our merch links, and even checking out film commentaries for friends of the show. But that's not going to happen unless you do one thing, and that's ride with us.
Man, everything you're saying right now, Brian, is so true. Listen, folks, everybody out there, stop what you're doing. We just want you for half an hour, 35 minutes tops. Come on, hop on board. Take a ride. Let's ride together. That's what we're here for, folks. You ride or you fly. And if you fly, I hope you fly, a decent airline. But anyways, fuck flying. Come on a ride. Got plenty of room in the back seat. Brian, hell, I even think he'll either scoot over or just get out. Let you ride shotgun. Either way, we're going to give you the comfortable seat and maybe even a cup holder. Come on, folks. It's time to ride. Every time I ask anybody to ride, they're always like, oh, I got something else to do. No, get in the car. Shut up. And let's ride, man. You only live so long. Hell, I wish I could get my wife to ride with me. Anyways, just come on a ride. Hey, I'm buying gas.